What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another granularity tutorial. Today we are going to talk about something that was released in Jensen Huang's NVIDIA GTC event, and it's pretty important when it comes to the whole OpenClaw agentic craze that we're kind of experiencing this year. I think OpenAI recently bought or recently acquired OpenClaw, as well as the creator Peter Steinberg, who created OpenClaw. I believe he is acting as maybe not an employee, but I want to say like a collaborator or like a freelancer, a consultant when it comes to building out OpenAI's kind of agentic AI ecosystem, personal AI agent kind of ecosystem with Peter. But at the same time, Jensen, at his recent NVIDIA GTC conference or event, in his keynote, he also talked about something called NemoClaw, which, if you were wondering in the past, the whole debate was mainly around how secure OpenClaw was when it came to personal information, when it came to being added to anyone's personal PC, setting up like a sandbox for it specifically to access certain information and what to give it access to. There was a lot of questions, a lot of concern, right concern, about whether or not people should have these fears when it comes to allowing OpenClaw into their information, using their credit cards, bank account information, so forth and so on, and having it kind of have this information and do whatever at will. And I think I did hear stories about how OpenClaw was kind of making transactions that it shouldn't have made, racking up costs that it didn't need to rack up, and people were pretty worried and fearful. And I think now NVIDIA has released NemoClaw, which is a more secure way to use OpenClaw. Now, I think also this ties into, if you are in a corporate setting, an enterprise setting, NemoClaw is tailored to an enterprise setting, meaning there's added security, added policies around the agent to help it be more secure and to not have it make certain decisions and choices without your discretion. So today we're going to kind of talk about a run through of how to install OpenClaw, how to run it on your PC, and how to go about it. So there is some issues that I was experiencing when adding OpenClaw. Mainly it was around WSL. If you are not familiar with WSL, I think it's a Windows installer of some sort. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you will need WSL when you are trying to incorporate NemoClaw, as well as you will need to install Docker. Just, if I were you, I would download the Docker desktop. It comes with everything. You can add it in and you can use it at will. No biggie, no hassle, easy peasy. But you want to access or to install NemoClaw using PowerShell. You can use Git Bash as well, but preferably I would use PowerShell. I think anyone else would recommend using PowerShell, and I think usually when you're looking at other tutorials, they'll recommend PowerShell as well. So let's kind of pop open PowerShell. And as you can see, we have it here. And like I said, there's a few ways you can do this. I have WSL installed on my PC. And so if you're using Windows, you probably don't just want to use curl. I think curl is more so for Mac. I think it's for Git Bash. I'm sorry. You can use curl, and that's fine if you have the right installations and add additions for it. I had used the WSL command first here with curl, and then uploaded it to my PC, or added it to my PC. So WSL curl source bash.rc or .bashrc. Then you want to hit enter. The error you get here, create processing parse common you don't really have to worry about just yet. After this happens, you then want to add in the the NemoClaw onboard. And this will begin installing and onboarding whatever kind of necessary things are needed. And you'll see NemoClaw onboarding, pre-flight checks. This does take a while. It does take some time, maybe like 30 minutes, I would say, to an hour. I think the first time I did it, it did take, I think, an hour, maybe more. But I think now that I have a lot of the things already installed, it doesn't take that long at all. So we're gonna let this run for a while, and then we'll come back once it's completed. So now that we have all the additions and pre-flight checks done, we're doing the creating sandbox piece. So I already have a sandbox pre-created. And for me, it's called Nemo Love. Why is it called Nemo Love? I have no idea. That's just what it was, and that came to mind. But no questions, just proceed. And the sandbox already exists. We want to hit yes to recreate it. Don't worry, it's not gonna like damage anything. Recreate the sandbox, build the image, it'll be okay. And then you're gonna let that run. This is 3 out of 7 checks that it's gonna perform. Again, you're gonna let it run continuously a little bit more. And after that, it should be good to go. And I believe you should be able to communicate with the bot after I think this is done. At least the 4, 5, and 6, 7th check is done, of course. Okay, last but not least, this is the 4 out of 7 pre-flight, or 4 out of 7 check, I guess, to do, not pre-flight check, but the next kind of thing that we need to make an addition of is the NVIDIA API key. Now, there clearly says to get an API key, go to that site, sign in. It's pretty easy, and I think also they give you the ability to, like, it's a free API key to use some of their local models or open source models. I think Nemo's in there, Quen's in there. There's a few others, and I think they allot you like 200 tokens, I think, every day. So it's a pretty nice deal, I'm not gonna lie. And I think over time, like the Nemo one, Nemotron, I think model isn't bad. I would highly recommend using that as far as an open source model. I think it's open source. Highly recommend using that. Like I said, you can get like 200 tokens every time you kind of try to use it. But next is installing the NVIDIA API key. So like I said, there's a few models you can grab. Nemotron, Kimi, which Kimi K2 is actually pretty good. Nemotron, Kimi, GLM, Mini Max, I never heard of that one, Quen, and GPT OSS, which I think the GPT OSS usually is if you want to fine tune a model. I wouldn't recommend this, but the Nemotron, Kimi, and the Quen I would highly recommend. But for today, we're just going to run with the Nemotron and go from there. I think it's 120 billion parameters. Shouldn't take that long to load in. So actually, let's try the Kimi one. I want to see Kimi, and let's see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, available policy presets: Discord, Docker, Hugging Face, Jira, NPM, Outlook, Pi, Slack, Telegram. So these are all the different, I don't want to call them skills, but I guess all the different options you have if you want to connect them with any of these kind of tools, right? Docker I would use, Hugging Face for sure, Jira for sure. So these are all pretty much like enterprise level tools that you would use in general, right? Jira, of course, Outlook, Slack maybe, Docker for sure, Hugging Face for sure. So yeah, it would ask you if you're cool with this list, and my recommendation is to just hit Y and good to go. It should do a few more additions. That was the last kind of check that it has to do. Let's kind of give it some time to see what it spits out in a bit. Cool. So we want to run. So you then want to run this NemoClaw Nemo Love Connect. Now, obviously don't run Nemo Love. That's what I named mine. But whenever you're naming your sandbox, that's what you kind of want to use. So my sandbox is named Nemo Love. So I'm going to run NemoClaw Nemo Love Connect. And you can see the various kind of commands you can use to connect, to see the status, blah, 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 blah. But again, you want to run NemoClaw connect to just run the sandbox, and then do OpenClaw TUI to then have it the ability to kind of give you access to the OpenClaw user interface and make that connection. So we're going to say, hi, how are you? And sometimes it takes a few seconds to run, depending on the model you're using, depending on the PC you have, right? Of course, it could take a long time. It could take a little bit of time. It all just depends on how powerful of a PC computer that you have, GPUs, CPUs, that can really determine how long it takes. So for me, it might take 30 seconds. I have a Samsung laptop. So mine isn't crazy powerful. I kind of just use this just for my personal stuff. But it could take more than 30 seconds. It could take a minute. There it is. See? Hey, doing well. Thanks for asking. Just settling into the workspace here. How about you? What's on your mind? Let's say, can you connect to, let's see, what was the options? Can you connect to Hugging Face? Can you connect to Hugging Face? If so, how? And again, this is a more not demanding question, but more of a question of asking for a how-to, and it could take longer as well. So I'm gonna pause it right here and come back once it kind of generates a response. So it started generating a response, and it took, I think it's taking more than 10 seconds, but it's still kind of giving you that information. So it says, I can definitely help with Hugging Face. Let me check if there's any no prior context on Hugging Face in your memory. It looks like the Kimi one kind of sucks. It's not even giving full sentences. Maybe the Nemotron is better. This is my first time trying Kimi, so I don't know. Here's how I can connect you. Ways to use Hugging Face, transformers, blah, 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 blah. What are you trying to do? Download a model, run inference, browse the hub, or something else. Let's just say browse the hub. Browse the hub. So as you can see, there's certain commands that will take long and may devour all your tokens. It says so far the tokens used up here were 12K, but just judging by how much it didn't want to finish this ask, I'm guessing it used a whole lot more. And this is using the Kimi model. So if there's other models that maybe you have locally that you can use with OpenClaw or with NemoClaw, give that a try and see what happens. But yeah, who knows, man. As far as NemoClaw goes, the installation, again, I run through here, is pretty straightforward. I'll include these links that I used here, the GitHub and the original NVIDIA link. I'll have it in the description for you guys to kind of take a look of, but this is mainly just another version of how to kind of use OpenClaw in a more secure way. You have to install the OpenClaw TUI here in order to even use the OpenClaw interface. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helped you. I hope this provided a different idea on maybe how to use OpenClaw in a more secure way. Be safe out there. Don't do anything stupid, and make sure not to give agents your personal information. Bye-bye.